Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to talk about some of my projects and what ones I should focus on and actually do something with, because, well, the last year or so, I've been just kind of buying cars and buying almost done projects and stuff like that and just finishing them, but I have had not a whole lot of ambition to get some of my projects done that I took on, and it's really tough to kind of decipher what to do, where to start, etc. So you guys know that I do have Black Betty actually back at the shop now, which is pretty cool. This car was out of my possession for quite a while because it was getting a roll cage put in. So the car now has a roll cage in it, and it's looking awesome. It's got a sweet steering shaft in it, sweet manufacturing steering shaft. It's all tied into the cage. And it also has the motor and trans in it. So this car, I still need to get obviously a ton of stuff for it. This is going to be a twin turbo 5.3. We built the motor. I got the motor built, and you guys saw that video, I'm hoping. And we did the Summit Pro LS rods and pistons. I have a TIC Performance air to water intercooler for my Holley low ram intake manifold. And yeah. So the car, what it needs from here is, obviously I got to build the turbo kit. I have an electronic water pump for it from PRP that I have to install. I have this northern radiator here, which I need a cap for. And then I got to get the hoses, obviously, and then figure out how to mount it in here. I initially wanted to do tube front end on this car, and I thought we were going to when we did the roll cage, but the guy that did the cage was, a little bit too busy to do it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I'm just gonna kind of keep the if I'm just gonna kind of keep all the stuff up front, or if I just want to kind of cut out a lot of this and just leave the square tube that's their factory to kind of just open up the engine bay a little bit. But I mean, it is still fairly open. Yeah, but anyways, I have to figure out how to mount that radiator because it has no tabs on the bottom of it. It's just like the top on the bottom. There's no studs that stick out or anything like that. And this style on this car takes studs would sit into those grommets. So got to do that. And then I wanted to block off a lot of the shit on the firewall because it's all wide open now. I took everything out of this car to do the roll cage. It had full interior and everything, but now I'm kind of thinking screw it, just go full race car with this thing and just have fun. So I'm going to need a throttle cable too, because this one obviously is not long enough. I don't know what cable I should get. I have no brakes because this car was a hydro boost system, or it ran off the power steering. So I got rid of that. I have to get some sort of brake system on the car. It has no brake lines. It has nothing. It has rotors, calipers, and all that, but it doesn't have lines or master cylinder or anything like that. So got to get brakes in it, and I have to build the turbo kit, obviously. I got to put my valley cover on. I got to take this balancer back off. This car was sitting outside for quite a while, guys, and it sucks because it really needs a bath, and I got to paint the cage and shit because it was sitting, like I said, it was sitting outside for quite some time. And this window doesn't go up right now because it's a power window. And yeah, you guys can tell, I gotta get this shit cleaned up because, like I said, it was sitting for so long outside. I have this air to water intercooler tank and fuel cell all in one that I picked up. So I'm gonna run my water line and my fuel lines all off the same tank. Kind of simplify things. I did have this fuel cell in it, but I think I'm gonna use it for the Cutlass whenever I can get to doing that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the car needs a lot of stuff yet. I gotta wire it, I gotta get a battery, I gotta get fuel line. I have a fuel pump. You guys are probably just staring down, sorry. I gotta get, I have some seats for it. I have a Kirky seat over here. And another thing too that I wanted to get is because I kind of decided screw it, we're gonna go full race car. I don't really want to run the Jegs XHD converter because I want to just put a trans and converter in it once. And I don't want to pull out the converter and shit after I run through that Jegs XHD, which I think I will, being with this car. Because it's going to make a lot of bottom and mid-range power, and I mean it's going to make power everywhere, but the turbos I sized so they're going to light off pretty quick. And yeah, so I have like I said, the Mustang obviously I want to get done, but I'm just like super overwhelmed to even look at my own projects and to even really kind of start on doing them. So I've been doing little stuff like building the Groms and building, I've been building a couple scooters and some mini bikes and stuff like that, just because they're a little bit less intimidating right now. When I look at the Mustang, I really see an awesome build coming together, but it's just a little overwhelming, like I said. I'm usually not one to get overwhelmed with projects, but I mean, I'm gonna need $500 in frickin' water lines going to the intercooler, which sucks. And another thing too is like, I lost a lot of forward momentum with a lot of my projects. Like the Cavalier, I lost a lot of forward momentum with because I was just busy doing some other stuff with tuning and stuff like that. I lost forward momentum with the Mustang because I still had the Fox body when I bought this car. I got a pretty good deal on this car, and I said, all right, I'm just gonna buy it, and then when I sell the Fox, I'm gonna build this. And I even tempted to pull all the stuff out of my Fox and put it in this car, which, you know, whatever. I ended up selling the Fox, and now I have this to work with, but it's a whole brand new thing, and it's gonna take some time to get it all together, I think. But like I said, I lost forward momentum because one, I mean, just the intercooler alone took me like 3 months to get. The Hollies, the intake, all that other stuff, I mean, it just took forever to get some of the parts. Then I got most of the parts in, and I put the cage in. The cage took like 6 months. So like, that's just another example of like, it just like, I lost momentum with the car because I didn't just like I didn't get a car and then have this vision, order the parts, have all the parts within like, I don't know, a month is reasonable time, I think. And then put it all together while I still was like excited about it and whatever. But now, all this time I've wasted, not wasted, but all this time that I've had to wait on getting this thing together, like I said, I've lost a lot of forward momentum and motivation to work on it. So, and that's another thing like with the Cavalier, like I lost a lot of motivation with that thing too. Which it's almost done. It's sitting at the house right now, and I might go try to fire it up today. But yeah, I'm just lost. I gotta get some momentum going here. And this car is turbo 400 right now. I want to maybe change it to a Power Glide, and I have a ton of 400 trannies, but I want to I don't know, I want to try to maybe sell a couple of those 400s and maybe sell the Cavalier or something so I can fund more stuff for the Mustang, because the Mustang is kind of my it's what I'm interested in the most. I want to get a Power Glide for this car from PTC and a converter from him, and I mean that's not cheap, so I can sell the Cavalier and buy the trans and stuff for this car, along with selling some other stuff that I have for it. The Cutlass, I'd love to do a basic street setup on, which I have the perfect motor sitting at my house in the Cavalier. So the Cavalier, we built the motor for, and it's a 6-liter with the sloppy stage 3 camshaft. And that car, I really just haven't been super motivated to fix or to work on or to finish, just because it's not going to be anything like different. I mean, it's different because it's a Cavalier, but I mean, I'm not super pumped on it. I don't know why. I mean, I know you guys really want to see the Cavalier and whatever, but I'm not like destined to build that thing. I'm just not interested that much to do it. Another thing too, the Integra, I picked this thing up, fixed a lot of stuff on it, got it running and driving good, and now it's like, okay, where do we go from here? I wanted to make the car look nice. So I talked to a guy. I was supposed to get the car painted a few weeks ago, and never heard anything back. So he kind of bailed, and now I'm like, okay, now I have to change direction again in order to figure out what I want to do with this car. And that's just like another thing. It gets frustrating, and I get annoyed when stuff just doesn't kind of fall into place when I build stuff, because most of the time at least a couple years ago, before COVID and all this frickin' whatever stuff, car tax, I should say, car part tax, back then, I could like get a car, plan out a build, and I would write down all the stuff that I needed to get. I'd order all of it, I'd get it all in, and I'd build the car in like a weekend. And after I built the car and made it fun, I can do little tweaks here and there. But something like this, you know, it's obviously a lot more work to get finished. And when I'm doing dynoing and stuff all the time, obviously I got a mortgage to pay for and all this other stuff and a shop payment. I gotta keep working, which sucks. Because, you know, I can't take a lot of time like I used to build these cars. You know, when I was living at my dad's house, and you know, now I feel like I have a little bit more responsibility, you know, and it's tough to find the time and motivation when I'm working on other people's stuff all the time. So if I'm working on other people's stuff all the time, just like if you are a carpenter for a living or a mechanic for a living, when you get off of work at the end of the day, you don't want to come home and do more carpenter work or more mechanic work. You kind of just want to go home and change a light switch or flip a switch and be like, okay, now I'm going to do this instead of mechanic work or working on cars or whatever. So like I said, I've been kind of flipping the switch and going home and working on mini bikes and electric scooters and shit like that, because it's just a little bit less stressful for me. Not stressful, but I'm just more interested in it. But I'm obviously trying to keep the channel going with my projects, but it's just been tough. Everything you guys have been seeing lately has been customer cars on the dyno, and yeah. So anyways, I really want to get a project done of mine. I just don't know. And that's another thing too, like I've been working, making a couple bucks here and there, and I'm like, ooh, I could get that project, or I could buy that, or I could buy that. And now I've had this problem now for like, ever since I got this shop, I've had this problem where like, I buy a project because it's a good price, and I have all this like intention to build it. And then reality sets in when I get the car, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't do this like I used to. Or I can do it, I just don't want to like I used to. Where like, I used to be able to just go buy a car, build it, and then sell it in like a month or whatever. And now, I don't have patience. I want to go racing. I haven't even been to the fucking track this year with a car. And yeah, I don't know what to say or what to do to make more sense out of all this, but I'm just a little bit frustrated. I want to get something done. I want to have the time and motivation to finish a car and go racing. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I really am kicking myself in the ass after the fact for selling my Fox body. At this point, honestly, like I wish I could just like have a car that's good, or have a car that's like ready to race, and then do tweaks and tuning on it, rather than start from fucking nothing and build something. It sucks. I mean, shit, I'd even be willing to trade like my Mustang, my Cutlass, something for a turnkey car that I can race or whatever, because I miss fucking racing. I like racing more than building shit. And I like tuning more than building stuff. That's the thing too, like I want to sell the Cavalier or trade the Cavalier for something that's a little bit something more that I'd be interested in. I don't know. And another thing I kind of wanted to mention is like, it's like every step of the way I've just been kicked in the ass on these cars. You know, like, okay, this is going to take this long, or this is going to take another 6 months, or this is going to do this, or this is going to do that. And I've never been that type of builder to lose time like that, or to, you know, in my eyes, waste time. If you can't get the part, like I just ordered some parts for a scooter that I'm building, and they're like, yeah, well, this is gonna be an extra $20, but you'll have it right away. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait 3 weeks for this other part. And I'm like, all right, I'll pay the $20 to get this done, because time is valuable, guys. And if you wanna do something and you wanna build it, you should do it. And I don't know where I'm going with any of that, but every step of the way with the Cavalier. Motor, trying to get it mounted, got it mounted. Put everything in, and I've had fuel system issues, wiring issues. It's like every step of the way, and now it's like ready to fire. I fought through all those stupid issues, and it had a bad fuel pump, brand new bad fuel pump. So I put a new fuel pump in, and the pump is good, and now the filter is leaking, like the regulator filter, and it's like O-rings inside. I'll have to show you guys, but it's like, man, I'm gonna fire this thing up today, and then stupid frickin' issue stops me, and I lose forward momentum again. And then the next day I'll be like, okay, I fixed that, and then I lose forward momentum again because it's not something that I can fix right now. And for the most part, I can fix a lot of stuff right now. All the stuff with the Cavalier and the Mustang, has all been stuff that like I can't fix right now, and I have to, I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. This is just like another example of why I wish I had a car that was done and ready, because look at my new setup for tow rig to go to the track, and I got nothing to put in here, which freaking sucks. But I'm actually going home right now to maybe put the Cavalier in here and get it out of my garage at my house, because you know, I figured maybe bring the Cavalier home so I have more motivation to work on it at home. I don't. Yeah, so I got a new truck. Trailer's still good. I don't know. Just gotta get something rolling. And I guess I'm almost willing to see if anybody out there would be willing to either buy some of my projects or trade me something that's done. Something that I can have just some spark with. I just don't have no spark with any of my projects right now. And I'd like to, I don't know, get some excitement going on again in some of my projects. I just haven't had any excitement with any of my projects. The Integra a little bit, but that was almost finished already, and I didn't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. Yeah, I don't know. Another thing I might want to add is, like, I've taken on a lot of projects, like a couple cutlasses, for example. Like, I have a cutlass right now at my shop that I don't even think I've shown you guys. It's a 4-door super clean sleeper car that I want to build, and it's just like all these like ideas in my head. I want to build this, and I want to build that, and I want to build this, and then I have like 5 fucking projects that I don't touch at all. I don't do any of them, and then I'll like start on a project, and then I'll be like, all right, well, now it needs this and this shit, you know, and then I like just fucking lose motivation and I sell it. I'm trying to just get something done. I'm trying to just work on something, do something, maybe trade some of my shit for something else. I don't know. Just got to get some spark and motivation going for a race car. And I think part of that might be just like get something that runs and get to the track and go race, just to get that spark back that I need to work on something or finish something. And it's weird because I know a lot of guys that like I race with and build cars and build projects and stuff like that, and I don't know if it's COVID or if it's something else, but it seems like all the normal guys that like are racing and getting projects done and stuff like that, they don't have anything right now running, and they're not like working on stuff. They're not they just don't have, they're not out racing and doing stuff. Where the guys that normally aren't racing, and they are the guys that have their stuff on jack stands a lot, all their stuff's running. It seems weird, but like that's what I've noticed a lot. I don't know if it's like an energy shift in the universe or what, but like that's what I've noticed. I don't know, but I want to get out there. I want to get out racing, and I want to get some wind lights and get some time slips and scare the shit out of myself. I really want to do that. I want to launch a car and just go. Yeah, I miss it. And I don't really want to race. I could race the Integra, but I don't know if I really want to race the Integra because, I don't know. I mean, I might, but I still have to buy a wheel and tire for that car. And I just don't know if I really want to drop $1,000 on fucking slicks and wheels for that car right now. I'd rather have more horsepower before I do that. I don't know. And again, work your fucking life away, right? Working. All right, so I'm back at home now. Wanted to give you guys a little update on the Cavalier. So I haven't really been filming a whole lot with this car. I brought it to my house to, you know, kind of work on it at my leisure. It's kind of nice being able to work on stuff at home instead of having to drive to the shop and then have to drive home or whatever. It's just a little bit more of a drive to get to the shop than it is to just walk outside of my house and work on it in the garage. So that's kind of why I brought it here, to kind of do some of the finishing touches on it. And it's almost ready to fire up. I have the Holley wiring harness installed onto the car. I have some Deca 80-pound injectors in it. I have some exhaust manifolds facing forward, and I was planning on doing exhaust just out the bumper on each side, because I can't fit the exhaust going backward without cutting a ton of stuff, and I don't really want to deal with it right now. So I just figured, screw it, run the exhaust forward and run it that way. But like I said, everything's wired here. I just have to run the constant power to the Holley, and then the big power and ground going to the battery for the Holley. And then once I do that, I just have to wire the fuel pump trigger to a relay, which I have the relay. I just have to run power and ground to the relay, and then switch power off the Holley to trigger the relay to power the pump. So this car's been every kind of step of the way with it. It's just been like another thing. For example, like this fuel pump, I bought, and it's like a cheaper one, Osias, I don't know. A couple of my buddies ran it and they said it worked good, so I figured I'd grab one. And when I put this pump on at the shop, I had dropped the fitting that went into the pump on this side. And the one side that I dropped was AN, and it landed right on the taper of the AN fitting. So like I screwed it together and it wouldn't make a seal. So I'm like, dang it. So I ended up having to do some witchcraft shit, because I didn't want to wait for a fitting or have to order another pump or whatever. So we ended up lobbing off the fitting at the AN portion, and then I threaded pipe to 8, and then 8 to 8 to 8 to 10. This was all the shit that I just had laying around, because by the time I had to wait for fittings and stuff, I'm like, I just want to get this thing done, like just fucking make something happen here. So like I said, I tapped the inside of that fitting after I lobbed the outside of it off, tapped it to pipe thread, ran it to -8 because that's all I had. Went to a local place, they had an 8 to 8 female coupling, and then I had an 8 to 10 adapter to run to my fuel line that's coming off the cell. So I did that and got it all back together, no leaks. Hell yeah, fucking ready to pressurize this thing and hook up those rest of those couple wires, and I was gonna turn this thing over and fire it up. I got oil in it, I got tranny fluid in it, everything's ready to go, and the pump was dead. So the pump didn't work. So I waited like another week and I got another fuel pump. This one is from Most Plus. That's the one that's on the car right now, and it works. So I powered up the pump, ran it, and found out that my fuel filter was leaking. So I've never ran one of these Corvette fuel filter regulator deals, but I figured it'd be simple for plumbing. This thing's naturally aspirated. It's not really gonna make like, you know, groundbreaking record horsepower. So I figured this thing would work good. So I put it on, and immediately when I pressurized the pump, this side, the outlet going to the fuel rail, was just pouring gas. And I'm like, great. So now I'm back under the car, getting soaked with fuel every time I do this, because it's a fuel cell car. So every time you take a fuel line off, it just gravity feeds all over you. And by the way, I googled some stuff. When you shower, when you're showered in gasoline from head to toe, which sucks, when you're showered in gasoline head to toe, put vinegar in your soap and then take a shower. And the vinegar actually takes away the frickin' fuel smell. So that's a good little tip that if you guys deal with a lot of this bullshit. Yeah, so anyways, the fitting that came with this car, or this filter, was like a push in, push lock, you know, quick release thing, just like these ones are on this side, except it was here to 6 a.m. How they inserted the fitting, they had 6 O-rings, and I didn't even touch this. I bought this off eBay from Glenn's Auto Performance or whatever. There was 6 O-rings sealing that freaking thing. So I pulled it off and all the O-rings were like overlapping and all this shit. And I could not get the thing to seal, like no matter how many O-rings I used or what size O-ring I used. And I just said fuck it. And I went to my buddy's house and he welded a -6 fitting right to the filter. Fuck it. Ain't gonna leak now. So now I'm about to put all this stuff back on for the final time, hopefully. And then I'll be able to pressurize the fuel system and hopefully have some return going back into the tank. And then I can key this thing on once I hook up these last couple wires and hopefully hear this freaking thing come to life. And once it comes to life, I just need to get a throttle cable, build the rest of the exhaust, maybe fix up some of these sketchy tranny lines that I fixed, because we fixed the motor mounts too. The motor mounts on this car, when I initially built it, I just like jammed some junk in there and it had a sketchy fucking motor mount situation going on. So we cleaned that up a lot. I gotta put the charge harness on from Sloppy Mechanics and get some radiator hoses, and I think we can go race this thing. I'm just like not super stoked about it because it's, I mean, it'll probably run in the 11s, I'm hoping, but I want it to wheelie, and it'll be funny if this car wheelies, and I've never wheelied any other car other than my Mustang, like this far off the ground. But anyways, I'm gonna get to this stuff, hopefully finish this damn thing up, and get to go racing soon-ish. Another thing that's been kind of taking some of my time, which I absolutely love her. This is my new little blue heeler puppy, and she's a gem. I really love her, but she's a little handful at some points, but she's been getting pretty good. I kind of want her to be my little side companion. Figured it'd be kind of good to get a dog just for, like, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of good for mental stability, and she definitely takes my mind off the world, that's for sure. So along with all the other projects that I have going on right now at my house, which I've been having literally a ton of fun with. We built this little bicycle kit. This was like $100. It does like 30 mile an hour, and it's like a $100 bike kit you buy on eBay. And I bought it, 2-stroke little freaking ripper, and may do like a pipe and jet kit on this thing and try to go like stupid fast with it. I mean, it's a bicycle, but whatever, yeah. And then I have my Ruckus. This is my stock Ruckus. It's just like a fucking brand new mint unit. The Grom, obviously, this thing's been super fucking awesome. Love it. Maybe more to come with it. I plan on going kind of fast with it. And then this is my other Ruckus that I bought for like stupid cheap. Had a GY6 swap in it, and I'm just kind of cleaning it up. I put a new battery box on it, and I'm gonna try to clean up a lot of the wiring that's on this thing. Maybe paint the frame a little bit because I had this janky shit on there. If you guys follow me on Facebook on my personal page, you probably see a lot of this stuff. I post all the time on there. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to clean this little Ruckus up, paint a lot of the stuff, and just make it look sweet. Probably at least double my money on this thing if I decide to sell it, which I might not if I stick all this time into it. But yeah, so, and then I have another 2-stroke scooter over here that I'm going to be building, and I'm probably going to showcase it on video. So this bike is a Yamaha Zuma, and I'm going to try to go like 70 mile an hour with it. And it's just a fucking 50cc 2-stroke deal. Ripper. Super fun. It's already fun with just like a pipe and some small stuff. I got a drift trike over here that me and a couple neighbor buddies bought from China. They're a ton of fun to ride. It's not right now, but like you ride them around at like midnight with a couple buddies and you go hooning around your neighborhood. Ton of fun. Ton of fun. So like I've just been doing a lot of that stuff. But obviously my heart's not completely full right now because I don't have a couple cars ripping, and I have a lot of unfinished projects that I really want to get done. But like I said, it's been kind of tough, and I'm just throwing this video out there. I don't even care. I'm just gonna fucking let it hang, let it all hang out. Anyways, I'm gonna try to get this filter plumbed in, and maybe I'll catch up with you. If I don't, have a great night and a better tomorrow. We'll see you later.